Hello friends, welcome to Tarunayas. Today we will be discussing daily current affairs of 16th of November 2022. So let's start with the first news of the day. The first news is about the Millet Export Promotion Program. So you can see some of the Indian millets in this picture here. This is Bajra, this is Thinai, this is Varaku millet, this is Jawar, Sorghum, and this is finger millet, which is commonly known as the Ragi or the pampered corn. So basically, what are these millets? Millets are nothing but they are the seeded grasses. This is the most you can say that the most common definition that I can give for the millets. These are the seeded grasses. So if you consider that um, India has been trying to promote millets because for the food security and as well as to counter the vagaries of the monsoons or the climate. So basically these millets, they are resistant to the dry conditions and they can be easily grown in the dry climatic conditions in the states of Rajasthan and UP, Madhya Pradesh, etc., etc. Then they are highly and they are rich in nutrition and they are highly nutritious crop. Therefore, which will not only fulfill the food security of the India, but also it is going to fulfill the objectives to provide healthy and nourishing foods to the population, to the growing population of the country. So basically, in order to do so, and also to generate revenue, in in order to generate the revenue, the government of India has been pushing the millet export through its promotion program. Now the strategy via I mean the this promotion program is via the Commerce and Industry, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, which has released this comprehensive millet export promotion program, and that is going to commence from December 2022, in which India is going to export its millet and going to promote and popularize it at the global or the international level. Now, the strategy is prepared by the APEDA, which is the Agricultural and Processed Food Product Export Development Authority, under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, in order to promote the Indian millets across the globe. So the government basically is to facilitate the participation of the exporters, the farmers and traders at either the buyer seller meet or the 16 international trade expos. So basically these are the food expos where the varieties of the food, nutritious food is exhibited so as to create and generate awareness regarding the food system that the earth has. So basically Indian missions abroad, they are also going to be roped in so to promote the branding and the publicity of the Indian millets. The government is also going to mobilize the startups for the export promotion of the value-added products of the millets. For example, the ready to sell and ready to eat. So this millet export program, it comes at the backdrop when India, supported by 72 countries, led the United Nations General Assembly declared 2022-23 as the International Year of Millet. Alright, so the next news of the day is about the gaslighting. So this gaslighting phenomena has come into highlight due to the rising urbanization and increasing influence of social media. So this gaslighting phenomena, what is it basically? If in the simplest form I would describe gaslighting, it is going to be a sort of a manipulation. It is going to be a manipulation for either for the political objectives or in the interpersonal relationships. So gaslighting is sort of a manipulation which leads the person or the victim into belief or rather disbelief about the truth of the incident when they are actually not true, right? So basically it is leading to the falsification of the personalities, right? So this is what gaslighting is. Now let us look into the detail of the gaslighting. I have taken it from the Hindu text and context. So in 1938, the playwright Patrick Hamilton, he had written a thriller play by the name Gaslight, which tells the story of a man who attempts to drive his wife insane. Basically, so if I speak of the phenomena gaslighting, wherein it involves certain techniques of manipulation in order to control the people either in politics or in the interpersonal relationships. Now, what happens? There are varieties of ways or different ways are employed by the perpetrator to let the victim believe that the victim is basically psychologically suffering or suffering from some psychological disorder. This involves countering the victim, trivializing the experience of the victim, and denial of the responsibility by the perpetrator. So, if I give you the brief of these different ways by which a particular perpetrator commits this crime of gaslighting against the victim, then basically, suppose this is the victim and this is the perpetrator of the crime, then this perpetrator is basically going to counter the victim. This is the perpetrator and this is the victim. So this perpetrator is going to counter the victim or any experience experienced by the victim. So it could be perhaps experiencing a certain strange sound coming. For example, a movie based on the Hamilton play had I do not know the name of the movie. You are going to find it out. And so basically in the movie it is shown that the flickering of the light is supposed to have sound, and the perpetrator leads the victim into belief that the flickering of the gas light is producing sound. So it is some sort of this, so this is like trivializing the experience of the victim and also denying the responsibilities for one's action. This is generally done by the perpetrator. So this is how the gaslighting is executed. And because of the influence of the social media and etc., this has become a sort of a very common amongst the interpersonal relationship, especially the relationships which are romantic in nature, especially the relationships which are romantic in nature. So this gaslighting phenomena is more commonly seen in romantic relationship in which the intimacy is too high. And right, so the next news of the day is about the No Money for Terror conference. So, India, via its Ministry of Home Affairs, is going to hold the No Money for Terror conference from 18th to 19th of November. 19th of November. So, what is this No Money for Terror conference? Earlier, also, India had hosted the Council for Counter Terrorism Committee, CTC, and now it is going to hold the third ministerial conference. So if this is the third ministerial conference, then what is the first and the second ministerial conference? We are going to discuss it. It will see the participation from 75 countries, and the first conference was held in the year 2018 in Paris, France, and the second conference was held in Melbourne in the year 2019, Australia. Basically, the objectives of the No Money for Terror conference is to fight against the terrorism, global cooperation against the terrorist funding, and to have a compliance mechanism so as to see that every country who has participated or who partook, I mean, in the active, I mean, in the platform, then it is going to ensure that it from its soil no money shall be for the funding of the terrorist organization or for the terrorist activities. So basically, No Money for Terror conference is a sort of a platform for the international discussion on the countering terror financing. So what is this terror financing? In its simplest definition, if you have to write it in the exam, just write that it implies basically the ways and the means that are used to fund the terrorist activities and its organizations. So does there exist any mechanism to counter terrorism, especially the financing and the funding of the terrorist activities? Yes, the Financial Action Task Force mechanism, it does provide ways to put embargo or sanction against the country who indulges in the state-sponsored terrorism. All right. The next news of the day is about the Global Offshore Wind Alliance. So recently, 9 countries have joined this Global Offshore Wind Alliance. So what is this Global Offshore Wind Alliance? So basically the International Renewable Energy Agency and the Global Wind Energy Council has together set up this Global Offshore Wind Alliance in order to promote the offshore wind farms so as to achieve the goal of generating a minimum of 380 gigawatt by 2030. So offshore wind refers to deployment of the wind farm on the water bodies, and then these wind farms are used for generating the electricity. These are basically the fixed foundation turbines, or either they are fixed on this at the bottom of the water body, or they are floating. It could be any of the ways in which the offshore wind farm could be established. But basically, since the world is moving towards the transition from the conventional source of energy to the clean source of energy and green source of energy, then wind energy is one such mechanism by which it could be done. And because there is a shortage of the land, and due to the rising population, we do require land for the human habitation and for agriculture and for other activities, then offshore wind energy provides an alternative to generate electricity by utilizing the wind energy which blows on the water bodies. All right. So the next news of the day is about the methane alert and response system. So recently, United Nations has launched this satellite-based system to track the global methane emission. Now, why this is important? Because this methane, it is the second important greenhouse gas that is driving the global temperature. That is responsible for increasing the global temperature, and methane is generated via variety of activities, including the natural activities, for example from the stomach of the ruminants, that is the ruminant organism, for example the cattle, those who have got the second stomach, all called as the rumen. So it is the natural source of methane, and also the paddy fields, they are also the source of methane, the paddy fields and the agriculture. And then we have the anthropogenic source of methane, for example municipal solid waste. All right, so in order to monitor that how much methane has increased or decreased, and so that we can better assess the impact of the global warming in the coming decades, so United Nations has launched this methane alert and response system. Basically it's going to be a data to action platform which is set up by the UNEP, United Nations Environment Programme International Methane Emission Observatory Strategy. It aims to get a policy relevant data into the right hands for the emission mitigation. It is going to alert government, the companies and operators about the large methane sources to foster the rapid mitigation action of this potent gas. It is also going to provide the technical and the advisory services on the request, and such as, for example, help in assessing the methane opportunities. Now, what is this methane that we have been talking about, and about monitoring the methane? Basically, methane is a short-lived greenhouse gas, and a small proportion of human-induced global CHC emission, which is global greenhouse gas emission, compared to carbon dioxide, but it is 8 times more potent than the carbon dioxide. It accounts for half of the net rise in the global average temperature since the pre-industrial era. So I hope you have all understood the daily current affairs. Thank you so much for watching Tarun IAS. And if you guys need any PDF, then you can go to our Telegram channel, and the link is given in the description below. Have a nice day.